get married to you.
But
Get married to you. You said no. I said
I said not a wifey duty.
That's my point. And
you should ask me what was the wifey duty.
Just let me finish.
Ask me what's my definition of wifey duty first of all.
No, your definition is not a definition. There's a universal definition. There's a role. There's a role that the wife plays. That is the universal one, not your definition. And that's why I said I used the analogy of her looking for a job. Because the girlfriend stage is her being on probation. The guy is vetting her. So if you're not performing your duty, then you're not gonna get promoted. Simple as.
Okay. So when a woman says wifey duty, or when someone says wifey duty, most of the times is to do to the things that you cannot do when you in the relationships are boyfriend and girlfriend. So the graduation from boyfriend and girlfriend into living together as one couple, right? That is a wifey duty. That is run a home. The main duty of a wife is to run a home and put the home together. I.e., cook, clean, make sure everything is working, functioning fine. That's the only difference between a wife and any other person in your life. Do we agree on that? A wife usually doesn't mean care because your sister care for you. Your home is care for you. If it's about care,
this is what I'm saying.
If it's about care, let me finish. Let me finish. No, I'm not moving the purpose.
We know
because what is wifey duties?
We know your parents.
We talk about wifey duties. That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about a woman you get intimate with. No. That care is a different kind of care. We're not talking about.
But a wifey duty is to run a home and make sure the whole run smoothly. So and make sure you cook,
that's
clean.
What she does.
That's a wifey duty. That's the promotion from being a girlfriend to a wife. A wife in your home is to make sure your home is run properly. End. Boom. And to make sure you are in a good condition, everything is fine, everything is functioning. That's a wifey duty. A wifey duty is not just care. You can get care from anywhere.
Let me disappoint you because what you're talking about is not even. Yes, some men want that. When you get married to a woman, you expect your kids to be fed. You expect your kids to eat like good
run the home.
Good meal.
Run the home.
Let me learn. Good meal. So you don't want your kids to grow up on a McDonald's or pre-cooked meal. You want your
why are you making it longer now? The same thing I just said.
No, I'm getting somewhere. Just let me finish. But you're throwing me off. This is the problem. So every man knows that. But let me disappoint you. Because when I said wifely duties, that is not even the number one on the list. Because respect is that. During the vetting stage, if you as the woman is saying, okay, I'm not going to do XYZ because you haven't made me a wife yet, that tells the man that you have no respect for him. And that's going to disqualify you. Then this is why what you're doing right now is very dangerous for girls.
No.
So let me finish.
I'm making sure the guy doesn't make the wrong decision.
Just let me
because
finish.
it's a whim of a guy that wants a woman to do a wifey duty before he makes her a wife. Because he cannot decide or make a decision on his own.
Just let me finish. No, he has to do that. He's vetting the girl. So if you have no respect for him, number one, you're not even going to get the opportunity to go cook and clean and do none of that. This is why when I say wifely duty, that is number one. So that is a component. You're not going to skip all that to just get to food. I never even brought up
respect's not a duty, by the way.
Again, let me break it down. Since you're very fond of... No, hold on. No. It is. Because, no. It shows that you respect this guy. It shows that you know what hierarchy is in that relationship. So the man is there, you're here. So you show that respect. So it's your duty to show him that respect, to put him in that position. That is a duty. It's his duty to provide certain things for you. And again, I keep going back to my point earlier. I expect this as a man. You expect it. He expected. Every individual expects the man to do those things. You don't get married and you both sit down in a house. There is no food. And as the man, you're looking at the woman to magically come up with something. No, that's your responsibility as the man to go out and hustle, do whatever you have to do to provide for that family. You have to demonstrate these things prior to even getting to that. If you do not demonstrate these things as a man, no woman is going to give you a chance. This is my point. Men are held to a standard. You have to do this.
But there are a lot of men.
No. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. I know there are.
You haven't even said something.
No, I know where it's going. I know where it's going. What I'm saying is, you have to. You want that for your daughter. I want that for my daughter. You want that for your daughter. You don't want a man that's not able to take responsibility. That's not able to organize and properly manage things. So you making this argument, I'm a bit disappointed because even your answers and your stories says everything that you're arguing against. This is why I don't.
You don't understand your argument. Even you're lost in your own argument.
No, when you're arguing for no reason, you end up talking nonsense, and that's what you've done.
I'm not arguing. My argument was simple. Don't perform a duty that you don't have the title. Simple as that.
But yet, you gave an example of a woman doing
it's not.
And that's what you're looking for.
You are shifting the duties into other aspects. Because this argument always, why do it? If I'm your girlfriend, why do I have to come to your house and clean and cook, and go to your mom's house and do the same thing for your mom?
Wow.
No, of course not. That is not.
Did you say that?
No. I said that's the argument. No. See, what brought this up? What brought this up was all this, right? It was the life, right? And the lady says she cannot be doing all this duty if she's not a wife. And I agree, totally agree.
Okay. Let's just look at it from this different angle. When what you're saying, yeah. If I say I don't understand, I will be lying. I do. If you look at the Nigerian settings back then, I don't know about now. What you're saying is right, because I remember there are girlfriends then that used to go to the family house, they will wash everybody's clothes, come to the guy's house, the guy will even beat them up, I don't want, she'll come begging, she'll come to she wants to do everything, she just want to do everything. And sometimes that thing can be irritating for some guys, I'm talking about the Nigeria setting, not here, because I'm not talking about here now in the UK.
That's the girl you don't want.
One sec. I remember there are a lot of girls then that they try everything to sort of like please, and sometimes it doesn't always end well, because again, if you're not like, this is where your argument comes in. Like in that setting, if you do too much, sometimes it comes out it shows us as if you're desperate. And sometimes for us men, when you see a woman, when you get to understand that a woman is desperate, you just don't want to do anything with it, So I do get it, because again, you have to find a balance to it as a woman if you want to, because obviously some women, they just have it in them. They just want to genuinely do these things, not because they are sort of like pushed to do it, they are sort of like conditioned to do it. These are just how they are. They just want to genuinely look after their man, take care of their man. They don't care if the relationship leads to marriage or not, because this is who they are. But in some cases, the man they're doing those things for, the man might not see the value in it. They might not say, okay, this woman is doing a lot for me, I like her, she's going to be a good wife. The woman might not even end up getting the ring. But as soon as that girl break away from that relationship, that's why I say this thing is vice versa. Sometimes as soon as that girl break up from that relationship, 3, 4, 5 months down the line, you see he's met a guy that know the value of that woman and say, all these things you do, blah, 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 I'm married. You get, again, same for the man. So this issue of like, I'm not going to do wifey duty if I'm not married, that just you setting yourself for failure, because there are some things that are left unspoken. There are things that, because a man might like you, a man might just genuinely be like, I like this woman. But by the time you start saying, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to, that man will start having a doubt. So for sometimes I don't really get it when single ladies go online. Single lady that, if you're a single lady and you be like, I'm a feminist, I don't want to get married, I just want to, I just want to live life to the fullest, and you come online and be saying these things, I get it, I understand, because obviously you're not working towards that direction of getting married or raising a family. But if you're a young girl that is out there, you want to raise a family, you want to, somehow find a man, a suitable man one day and raise a family, don't go on the internet and start, speaking this rubbish, because sometimes you never really know who is watching. These days there are so many people that got married through people they find online.
Yeah.
Even when you're on a stand or on the TikTok platform or whatever platform, YouTube, wherever you are, you're speaking these things. Sometimes your soulmate might just watch and be like, you know what, this one is not for me. There are some things that are better left unspoken. You just use your discernment and be like, you know what, I like you. As much as I want to come to your house and clean and do this and do this and do that, I won't do it. You will say that to yourself. You put a break to it. If you come to the house, you see the house is unkept. You can't be like, oh babe, why is your house looking so messy? Come on, I'll give you a. Oh babe, why is your house looking so messy? Come on, I'll give you a hand. Let's tidy it up. You get. But the situation whereby you just come, the guy will just intentionally pile up a plate that he used eating like a week ago, pile them up and expect you to come and wash it. That one I'm not in it, because in a situation like that, if you're with a guy like that you're dating, you don't live together, this guy will literally use his dishes for like a week and pile it up in the sink, his clothes piled up in the bed. He can't even make his bed, and you see that as a woman, and you still decide to be like, oh, this is the man I want to be with. See, as soon as you get into that marriage, you're going to suffer. You're going to be doing everything, because you can't tell me. See,
all right. See, this is why when you said discernment, I agree, because it goes back to the blame thing, right? Because you said something about the woman doing these things for the man, and the man don't see the value, and I said that's the woman he didn't want, right? Because remember, the man, we all agree, the man decided to get married, right? Anyways, I will come back to that, but I just want to start with him. What standard are you using to back up your argument? Is it cultural values or religious, or what sort of standard are you using to sort of back the argument that a woman shouldn't do wifely duty because she's not a wife yet? What standard?
Okay. Statistics and people I spoke to. Okay.
Let me finish. Let me rephrase. It seems you misunderstood.
So what standard? I just give you the standard.
No. I'm not saying if you have figures, because you said statistics. I said, okay, because when it comes to like courtship, right? It's either you're going by the cultural standard, your culture, or religious, or secularism.
I'll go religion then.
So you have two.
Religion.
All right. So what religion? So let's go with the Bible, because I know you're a Christian. So now, during courtship, did the Bible say you should engage in sexual activity prior to marriage? Okay.
Nope.
So you were...
That's wifely duty.
No, hold on. Right. That's wifely duty. So you're okay with the girl performing this duty?
No, you're digging yourself in. I'm just glad you're digging yourself in. Go ahead. Take your time.
We'll see who's digging ourselves in.
Go ahead.
We'll see. So you're okay with the girl performing these duties?
What duty?
The sexual...
No wifey duty. Like I said, no wifey duty if you're not wife. Do your duty according to your title.
Right. Because you didn't have a problem with that when I said it's their problem. It's that's their fault doing these things and eventually getting married. Hold on.
Don't do wifey duty.
Just let me...
Don't bring anything.
You're not letting me finish. How am I going to bring my point out?
Because you already lost it. There was no point.
Okay, let me lose it, please.
Okay.
Let me land and lose it. Then you can...
But don't put it on me when you're losing. Just go ahead and say what you want to say.
Let me.
Okay.
I'm listening. I said I blame the women earlier because of these things. But you said no, it's the men. Remember, he said discernment. If the woman has a bit of discernment, applied it in any way, she wouldn't have sex with a guy prior to marriage. You didn't have a problem with that. That's completely fine by you.
When did I say that? Don't put words on my. I never said I don't have
No,
issues.
because you said it's the man's fault.
No.
You said it's the man's problem, not the woman's.
When?
You just said it.
I said
it's the woman to blame. He said it's my opinion.
no.
You said it's the man.
My point from
Do you
the
remember
beginning-
that?
The beginning of this argument is that a woman should not perform. A girlfriend should not perform a wifey duty. A man should not perform a husband duty, and that is it. Whatever duty, no matter what you put it.
Please listen up. Listen carefully.
So don't try to find a way to have a point. You lost it 6 years ago.
No. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. That argument is buried about a woman performing a duty before she gets married. You're wrong. He confirms that, I confirms it. Right? I am just making a different argument because from what he said, I'm trying to prove to you that you're wrong again on a different note. No, just
I hope you play this again and realize how wrong you are and go on the internet and said, please apologize for my very wrongness that I was on that live and says, listen, Friday, respect to you, you're always correct. You play this back again, everything I said, I would never drift from what I said. A man or a woman don't perform a duty that you don't have a title for. That's what it is. All right, and this is it's called see finish because when you start doing things you should have been doing, you lose value because why do I have to give you the next stage if you're already doing it? Why do I have to make you a wife if you're already been a wife when you're a girlfriend? Why you've already done it? I don't need to go to the next level. So the reluctantness or even put the ring on it, there's no point anymore because I've got the full version. Being a girlfriend is the trial version. You don't got the full capability of everything as a woman. So that makes you, I've tried this thing, I think I want more of this, then I'll go further. If I tried it and I will realize I can unlock the full version, why do I have to pay more? It's logic. So if you are a woman, like I said, if you are a girl dating a guy, don't become a wife before you before you got the title of a wife. Be a girlfriend as a girlfriend, be a wife or become a wife. Then you release your full version because that's how you grow and your respect in that relationship grows. Because if you give me everything I want now, I'll get bored at some point. I'm like, what? Is that all you have? You've done that already before. What else do you have to offer? And even as a guy, and this is why this is why the quality of guys are dropping again. Let me go back to what I said. Because sometimes you give everything you have in the first 1, 2, 3 weeks. Then that's what you have. Then the girl says the guy is boring. I said, I can't ask the guy is boring because you don't have anything more. Don't give all you have. Wait stage by stage. Give what your title permits you to give at that point in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Drop my mic.
You see how
Mic drop.
you see how I was quiet and let you finish?
I dropped my mic.
Would you be able to do that when
I
speak?
drop my mic?
Okay, thank you. So you just said in your rant that do not be a wife before you actually become a wife. But yet you said you're following the Bible as a Christian. And the Bible tells you you have to be a wife to be found. That's one contradiction. So the point I was making, because I've moved on from the actual argument, because that's done, because you completely wrong. He confirms that by what he said, but from what I said, you're completely wrong. Where I have a problem that I said I was going to address, which comes back to you because you were making an argument on the other side. I said it's the woman's fault when pregnancy happens. And this is where I'm going to agree with the statement you made, which has nothing to do with that argument because you didn't make the argument for this reason.
No.
So your argument was not to do things that wives do. But you never made the argument with the fact that they're having sex with this man, even though they're not his wife, right? I said a woman would not get pregnant if she does not allow our sex to her, right? If she doesn't allow a man to have sex with her, she would not get pregnant. You don't have a problem with that. And this is where I said your argument, it makes no sense, though I agree with the fact.
We were on this conversation that I said I have a problem with that. No, don't drag me into your argument.
You said you were gonna let me finish.
But you dragging me in. You said. I never dragged you in. No, I never dragged you in my argument. I make my point.
You were
here. When I make my point, I make my point direct.
You will have your
don't drag me into your point.
Relax.
Make your point without bringing me in. Make your point solid.
You just make your point. Go. Just give
No.
Boom. I believe this. I believe that.
No.
You said. You agree. You did. Then you put in words. You want me to defend myself.
I am addressing you. I have to. I am addressing.
If you're addressing me, let me pick my mind.
No, because you were addressing me. I went quiet and let you finish.
But I only make a point. I make a point. I didn't drag you in.
I need to go take fresh air before I faint.
This is a tactics for you to throw me off, but it's not gonna work.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
All right, finish this.
I've always stood on this, and I've said it multiple times. When a woman gets pregnant that's not married, it's her fault. This is why when he said the woman going to the man's house to wash the family clothes, the plates and all that, and the man doesn't take her serious, and he further went ahead and said, you need to apply a bit of discernment. If she did apply a bit of discernment, she would know what she was doing is wrong. There's nothing wrong with her doing all that shit. She shouldn't have done that, but there's nothing wrong with that. Where she went wrong is having sex with this guy, and yet this guy don't see her as a wife, despite her doing those things. This is why when you said discernment, and I quickly in my head I said she didn't apply that. She didn't look at the man's behavior. She didn't look at. She didn't know what to look for in a husband. In her head, she just wanted to get married, and she was doing things she knew a wife had to do. She had the right attitude, however, she was having sex, which is number one thing you're not meant to do prior to getting married, which pretty much every girl does now. So if they don't get taken seriously, they cry. You are the problem. I keep going back to that, and this man keep telling me, no, the men are the problem. No. So this is why I said when a woman gets pregnant, you can relate this to the single mothers. I'm not talking about the divorced ones or the widow. I'm not talking about them ones. The girls that specifically got married without a husband is 100% their fault. Thank you.
You can clap for yourself. That's just your opinion. Yeah, I wish it's totally wrong. Okay, pressure. I mean, end of section.